Before you start any plumbing job, make sure that you're comfortable and make sure you don't make no mistakes. If you're not comfortable with working with water, I'd advise you to call a professional or take your time and be smart about everything. And so I got some shower things here that I gotta change. So, I thought it was just basic this and this. I wasn't prepared to change this. So I don't have sometimes they're screw on. You might get lucky, but most times they're welded. So you need to have a welder, solder, and a heat shield because you're welding behind the wall. You don't want to catch the house on fire. So, with that being said, she thought this was broke because it's a pull. So you pull it and the water comes on and you push it in, push it back in, so full push. And what happened was the screw, over time you turning it into, and then the screw kind of backs itself out. And they didn't know that, so they pulled it off because it was on its last thread. But before you call anybody to do all that, make sure these screws, tighten these screws up, make sure it's tightened, and just put the screw back. And in this case, I just put the screw back and no problem. So I'm still gonna change this out. So how you do this was like this. It was down, but I twisted it up, kind of manhandled it, twisted it up. Unless you can get to that screw from the bottom, but it was twisting, so I just twisted it up. So you gotta get the right Allen key, which I've been doing this for a while, so it just came out to be right. And yeah, just undo that in there. And then I think it should just pull right out. Yep, pulls right out. Because this, you see, there's a washer inside. So when you put it in, it kind of hits the washer because it's long enough. So right there, it's like an inch. So see, it's an inch, it just barely. Because she never had a problem with it. And then this screw goes up. And then it locks it into place so it doesn't move or anything. So now that I see it, maybe I should have never spun it. But what I want to do is get some sandpaper and clean it up a little bit before I put the new one on. I did it to try to get the pits off, I put it like that, grabbed one hand here and one hand there, and I kind of pulled back and forth, like this, with one hand on the tip of that, one hand on the tip of this, and I rubbed it back and forth. And so you just want to kind of get it golden again, kind of get the rough parts smooth. And yeah, so basically when you put it on and the rubber washer inside, holds onto something and there's no pits or nothing to kind of let the water run the other way. But this, I kind of feel bad about not being able to change this, but you can go to Home Depot, and you can get a new plate. They're all interchangeable. Get a new plate, get a new handle. So I'm not worried about that later on. I can do that. And then we're gonna do this next, but first things first. There was nothing to it. There's a little space here, but I think that's because I was pushing it back and I don't know. think the bottom, there's no space at the bottom, but it's like they routed it down like this, kind of on an angle a little bit. So that's why this, but that's no problem, because I can put some silicone in, and just don't do the bottom, don't silicone the bottom, just in case some water comes out, it doesn't go in the wall, like it drips down the bottom. So just silicone the top. And it's the same concept. I pushed it in to reach the washer, and then I tightened it up. It's a pain in the butt to tighten it up, but if you find the hole and you tighten it up, just take your time. And yeah, same thing, no leaking. If you're in a rush, just make sure you have the washer, because I know a job that I did that it didn't have the washer, and he just put it on and water was rushing in the wall, and big problem. So what I'm gonna do with this is I'm gonna take this off first, and then stick my screwdriver in there and kind of twist this off, and I'll show you how that's done. Let me get this off first. So how to get this out is righty-tighty, lefty-loosey, right? So you're gonna spin it this way. So what I do is I kind of stick this, and you're gonna put it back on the same way too. So I kind of go like this to give it more leverage, and like you have to hold this. You have to hold this and push on this, kind of like a pry bar in a way, but you want to hold this so nothing's bending inside and you crack this pipe here. So basically what I want to do is hold this solid and kind of spin it as I'm pushing on this, and I'll show you when I break it loose. Right here, I held that and I kind of like pushed it like this, and then this is just to give it extra force to break it loose, because you have all that Teflon tape in there. So now, you know, righty-tighty, lefty-loosey. So that's that. And you want to kind of make sure that it's clean inside, kind of get all the Teflon tape out and crap. But over here, so you're going to put it on this one. Righty-tighty, right? Righty-tighty. So righty-tighty. So you're gonna loop, you're gonna make the Teflon tape, you're gonna start it right here and go this way. The opposite way, you're gonna spin it, because when you go this way and you lap it this way, it's gonna end this way. So when you're spinning it on this way, righty-tighty, when you're spinning it on, it's not gonna unravel on you. So if you put it on this way, then it's gonna unravel on you, and it's gonna be a pain in the butt. So I'll show you the last little piece when I unravel it up. As you can see, like this. So like that. So you're gonna ravel it up this way. So when you're tightening it, the righty-tighty, you know what I mean? It's staying tight, and it's not like, say if you lefty-tighty, you know, it would be unraveling on you. You know what I mean? So what I do is go over here, and I just stick that in there, you know. What you want to do is fairly tighten it, and you want to snug. You want to really snug it on to like the last 3 threads or something like that, because you don't want to untighten it. So, and this stuff never comes undone. That's when you need Teflon tape. But see, when you put the faucet head on, I'll show you. So let me tighten this up and I'll bring you back to the video. So as soon as I cut off the video, I did the same thing that I said not to do. And I put it in reverse. So I tried to pull one more spin off and it wouldn't go. It got stuck upside down. So that bend was up, and so I had to retract it a little bit. So what I'm gonna do now is pop this on. But see how this has a washer inside? A lot of people use Teflon tape as well. I don't agree with that because I never had a problem using Teflon tape and the washer. And if the Teflon tape gets in the way of the washer, it could leak. So don't use tape. The only fittings now that require tape are these fittings that are just there. So use Teflon tape so it don't leak. But I'm gonna put this on. And normally you can just hand tighten this, you know, because the washer's just so spongy that if you put it on hand tight, it doesn't leak anyway. So, bam. This is another problem because it gets sticky. Oh yeah, see, no leaks. Simple stuff. And I wanted to check because I retracted this. I wanted to check if it was leaking, but no leaks. Doesn't appear to be leaking, so, you know, I'm good. You know, I've retracted a little bit, but still the Teflon tape was still in. It was only a half a spin. So there's no leaks. I'm gonna run it for a while. And then I'm gonna take this off and pop in the plate. That way there's a little face plate that covers everything, and that's it. To complete this job, all I needed really was a screwdriver just to make sure the threads weren't broken for this, Allen keys for that, and the socket, the monkey wrench for this. And the one I use is from the Aircraft, and then I use the Husky, you know. And for this application, I'm going to use the crescent wrench and the monkey bars. I'm sorry, the monkey wrench. So, first things first, in this case, you have to put the wires or the hoses, and I don't know which is hot and which is cold. So I believe hot is always on the left and cold is on the right. But just to be sure, in case you forget, you want to open up the water, same thing, then turn it all the way to cold or hot. In this case, this is hot. And then you want to come down here. I believe this is the hot. I think I know what I'm talking about. And be careful because these are old. And once you start to turn them, the washer inside wants to go poof. And that's it. So just kind of take your time and work at it. And I don't really mess with these too much, but in some cases you don't have a choice. So don't manhandle it, just kind of finger tighten it. And in this case, the water didn't shut off, so that's the cold. And this is the hot. But the hot doesn't want to budge for some reason. So maybe I have to break it loose with this. So I go like that, and I try to maybe I could get away with it, but apparently not. So I'm gonna turn it all the way to the cold. The cold's off. So let me go turn off the main because I don't want to I want to bust this pipe, and then I'm gonna replace the the shut-off valve. So I'll be back. So remember the Hercules, the gun that I use? I went out and bought the light, and it's very bright light. LED. So you press the power, the light comes on, and you can turn it down and you can turn it up. And it's battery operated. And it has the option for a plug as well, extension cord. So these are one of the many accessories that they offer. You should just check them out, you know, online. So you just press the button, it comes on, and then you can turn it down, and you can turn it up. And it's very bright. It's very nice. So I'm just going to use it for this purpose under here to give me light. So that's be perfect. And then I'll take my monkey wrench and dive in. Okay, so this is under the sink. I did the hard work already. So this is what it looks like. It's rusty. And when you get under here and you start unscrewing this, I did the hard work already with the monkey wrench, but you can just kind of get the hint. You just wiggle it in here and just break it free. And when you're under here, make sure you wear eye protection, because if a bit of this rust or whatever breaks off and it falls into your eyeball, you might lose your eyeball, you know. So wear eye protection, you know. And that's that for this. And I'm just laying on my back, you know, and it does hurt right now. So it would be nice to have like a mat or something, so it would kind of round off the edge that's sticking in my back right now. But, you know, I'm a quick worker, you know, so I don't care. But, yeah, that's just a little tip. And this is copper, so if you do happen to change somebody's copper like this, you can take this copper, and I don't know how much it is to recycle it nowadays, but copper costs money. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the cold and the hot from the shut-off valves that I gotta get out of this crawl space, and then I can record it. So it's the same thing for both of them, and turns out this way was tightening it and lefty loosey. So it's normally from the top, lefty loosey. So see, lefty loosey is from the top, and then righty tighty from the top. So you can always know what's going on. And gas, when you're dealing with gas, it's righty loosey and lefty tighty. But that's gas. And water, liquid, is always righty tighty, lefty loosey. And the other one's the same way. And then I'm gonna just take the thing off, put the other one together, and I'll bring it back. So I broke everything loose. And now it's just pulling it up. And you can tell that this has been here for a long time. Look at all this dirt built up. Just right there. So I'm gonna wanna clean this up a little bit. So you don't really need it, because that's what this is for. And they make this with a little padding. You know what I mean? But some people, you know, they go the extra mile for no reason. So what I want to do is to clean this up, and then I'll put this together. Look at the directions. I'll read through it with you. And yeah, we'll get this up, get it running, and then I think I'll be out of here. So I cleaned it off. Found some 409 multi-surface and one of them things, and I cleaned it off. You know, I let it soak, and then I scrubbed at it. Everything just came off. It was just caked on putty. So I put that there. I put these on hand tight, because that's all you could really do, because right here and right there, there's like a and it keeps on spinning. So Some of these are just hand tight anyway, but I'm to the point where I gotta have it super tight, and that's how I am. You know, I'm a perfectionist. So, I'm gonna read this, exactly how this is. I'm gonna look at what I got. So, that goes on there. And then there's like a ring. I think I've seen the ring somewhere. But I'm gonna go put it together, and then I'll show you guys how it looks when I put it on here. So I put it all together. And see, I found the middle little ring, and that, and a little ring. So this is the plate I put on already. So I'm gonna go underneath and put the plastic, the metal, and then this on. And I'm gonna tighten it up and then hook up the water. And this is nice, not all of them come with 3/4 conversion to 1 inch, but I don't need this, the 1/2 inch. I don't need this. I need the 3/8. But some of them are like that, but see, this isn't American made, I don't think, because everything's, normally the hoses are together already. So, you know, I like to go with Moen or Kohler, or a well-known name, and it'll last just as long, but I don't trust it. So this is gonna go in the trash. And I have this plastic frame, that, and I'm gonna put this on, and I'm gonna take these guys under and show you. So I'll put it all together, and it's straight up there. So what I'm gonna do is make sure these screws are retracted. Make sure you back them out. And then you wanna make it, really, you wanna make it. I like these better because, see, I'm making it tight. And you can just make it finger tight. Because normally what it would do is spin the whole damn thing. So you would have to spin it back. So what I do now is I get the screw gun and I'll screw these screws up and it'll push everything back. You know, I gotta tighten them down. But I have to turn off this light to use the battery to do that. So I'm gonna do that real quick. It's just simple. Zip, zip, that's it. And then I'm gonna hook up the hot and the cold, and I'm gonna show you that it does not leak. And something simple like this, you know, you can save money and live, be happier. You know, you just walk into a room and just be happy about what you did. So the hot is over here and the cold is over here. So what you want to do is, before you put them in, no Teflon tape is ever needed if there's a washer. So just make sure the little black washer's in there. See, this little black washer. And then you just put it on, righty tighty. And in some cases, these are just finger tight. Like, I don't know who does it like that, but I loosen them. And I'm just like thinking like, dag, they are very loose. You know, there's no reason why it should be that loose, but it is. So I kind of snug it and maybe do it like a half a turn. So, and then it's done. So you see, like, it's finger tight. And then what I would do is go right here, just kind of squish it a little bit more. And in this case, you know, I like to make sure it's done right. And then bam, that's perfect. So I'm gonna get this out the way and do the same for this side. And then go turn on the main. See, so righty tighty, righty tighty. And I snug it up with my fingers, you know, and then I go like this. And maybe I'll give it a couple turns to make it snug and to kind of crimp down the plastic rubber inside until, like, I can't not Armstrong it, but kind of feel the tension with my fingers. You know, just like, there's just a little tiny bit of tension, not much, because it's not much PSI coming through these pipes, but it's enough for running water. So that's all. Let me turn on the water and I'll show you everything that it's not leaking and how it works. So I just turned on the water, and this right here, the hot water, I seem to make it tighter, and the hot water was on. I never turned the hot water off. So that's like, there's nothing here. That's not leaking. But I don't know how the heck that's leaking, because I turned that off. So that's leaking. So that's off. So I don't know why. Either I didn't tighten it up enough, or I tightened it up too much. But I know I didn't turn this off. So that's not leaking. Normally you can tell if it's leaking because it leaks right away, like this one. So I'm gonna just undo it and do it back up and see if it's leaking. I figured out what had happened. So this is okay because it went on and nothing happened to this one. So I'm gonna check it closer, you know, to make sure it's not dripping. So what happened is that when you looked inside before, you saw that little net that's in here now. See the net? And that's because it's not American made, and they add these extra little things. You know what I mean? So what happened is when I tightened it and the washer moved a little bit, so did that. And it kind of got caught up in, I'm lucky that it didn't rip up the washer. But, so now I'm just gonna put it back on and it's not gonna leak. So now if you look at it, remember how bad it was dripping before? It's because the net got twisted up on top of the washer, so it was like getting in between of the seal. And now it's good. But I didn't have the same problem with this one. It's a hit or miss. And this one just got right on. I guess it's binded up in there, but it didn't get in the way of the washer. So it's not leaking at all. So I'm not gonna mess with it, because if it's not broke, don't fix it. So, and now this is fixed. There's no water coming through. And so you got this. Oh, it's hot. Now it's hot, right? So it's hot and cold. So I was gonna turn it on until I had that problem, because it spits out air. And it's pretty cool to watch, but I didn't. So next time. And yeah, I'm just gonna check this one more time before I pack up. I'm gonna check it out after I pack up, and make sure it's not leaking. Let me keep the wrench here. And that's how you change a faucet.